We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
The people have spoken, the votes are in, and the players are ready to rock. At curling's first ever All-Star event, live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th, where 13 of the world's best men's and women's curlers face off for a star-studded celebrity pro-am, a unique skills competition, and an all-star skins game you won't want to miss. Got a ticket? We'll see you in Music City. Don't have one? Better hurry. They're going fast. The 2025 TCG All-Star Game. Live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th. Let's rock.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Team Homan rocks. Team Mowat rocks. But who rocks harder? On April 7th, we'll find out. Presented by Rio Mare, join us in Toronto at the Curling Group's first ever Battle of the Sexes, as world number 1 Team Homan takes on world number 1 Team Mowat in a head-to-head charity curling skins game with a twist. 8 ends, 4 rule changes, and curling like you've never seen before. Watch it live on the Grand Slam of Curling website, app, and YouTube with celebrity coaches and special guest appearances. The Curling Group's first ever Rio Mare Battle of the Sexes, April 7th, Mattamy Athletic Center in Toronto. Get your tickets now at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Welcome to therockshop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of Curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, The Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of Curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
The people have spoken, the votes are in, and the players are ready to rock. At curling's first ever all-star event, live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th, where 13 of the world's best men's and women's curlers face off for a star-studded celebrity pro-am, a unique skills competition, and an all-star skins game you won't want to miss. Got a ticket? We'll see you in Music City. Don't have one? Better hurry. They're going fast. The 2025 TCG All-Star Game, live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th. Let's rock.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Team Homan rocks. Team Mowat rocks. But who rocks harder? On April 7th, we'll find out. Presented by Rio Mare, join us in Toronto at the Curling Group's first ever Battle of the Sexes, as world number 1 Team Homan takes on world number 1 Team Mowat in a head-to-head charity curling skins game with a twist. 8 ends, 4 rule changes, and curling like you've never seen before. Watch it live on the Grand Slam of Curling website, app, and YouTube, with celebrity coaches and special guest appearances. The Curling Group's first ever Rio Mare Battle of the Sexes, April 7th, Mattamy Athletic Center in Toronto. Get your tickets now at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock!
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
The people have spoken, the votes are in, and the players are ready to rock. At curling's first ever all-star event, live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th, where 13 of the world's best men's and women's curlers face off for a star-studded celebrity pro-am, a unique skills competition, and an all-star skins game you won't want to miss. Got a ticket? We'll see you in Music City. Don't have one? Better hurry. They're going fast. The 2025 TCG All-Star Game. Live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th. Let's rock.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Team Homan rocks. Team Mowat rocks. But who rocks harder? On April 7th, we'll find out. Presented by Rio Mare, join us in Toronto at the Curling Group's first ever Battle of the Sexes, as world #1 Team Homan takes on world #1 Team Mowat in a head-to-head charity curling skins game with a twist. 8 ends, 4 rule changes, and curling like you've never seen before. Watch it live on the Grand Slam of Curling website, app, and YouTube with celebrity coaches and special guest appearances. The Curling Group's first ever Rio Mare Battle of the Sexes, April 7th, Mattamy Athletic Center in Toronto. Get your tickets now at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of Curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of Curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. Therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
The people have spoken, the votes are in, and the players are ready to rock. At curling's first ever all-star event, live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th, where 13 of the world's best men's and women's curlers face off for a star-studded celebrity pro-am, a unique skills competition, and an all-star skins game you won't want to miss. Got a ticket? We'll see you in Music City. Don't have one? Better hurry. They're going fast. The 2025 TCG All-Star Game. Live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th. Let's rock.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Team Homan rocks. Team Mowat rocks. But who rocks harder? On April 7th, we'll find out. Presented by Rio Mare, join us in Toronto at the Curling Group's first ever Battle of the Sexes, as world number 1 Team Homan takes on world number 1 Team Mowat in a head-to-head charity curling skins game with a twist. 8 ends, 4 rule changes, and curling like you've never seen before. Watch it live on the Grand Slam of Curling website, app, and YouTube with celebrity coaches and special guest appearances. The Curling Group's first ever Rio Mare Battle of the Sexes, April 7th, Mattamy Athletic Center in Toronto. Get your tickets now at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at the RockShop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. The RockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Swift Current. My name's Chris Daw. I'm joined by Dave Wills again. We're here getting down to it, Dave. We've got Lee versus Kleiter this afternoon. We started off with the center guard. What's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, both teams are fighting. I think Team Kleiter is probably pretty happy with themselves so far. They've managed a 3-0 record. You know, when we're dealing with 3 big pools of 6 and you're having to find a way to get to the top 8 in order to make the playoffs, 3-0 start is a very good way to go. Team Lee is playing okay, but they've only managed a 1-win situation. They're 1-2. So there was probably a little bit of an adjustment period for them. And this is great experience. However, they've got to get themselves in a better spot if they want to try and challenge for the playoffs.
So just a correction, based on the board, there might be a little confusion in regards to the way the scoreboard's going as we look down the sheet. Team Lee is actually throwing yellow stones, and Kleiter is throwing red. And we're going to have to remember that because on the board, it's the reverse.
Hopefully somebody will pick that up, and I think the name flip should be a fairly easy task if somebody sees it.
We're going to have to watch that, Dave.
Yep. It doesn't look like the players have noticed, or if they've noticed, they don't care. And probably that makes sense. As long as they throw the right rock when it's going down the ice. That's funny.
So I made my $1.49 for this game by picking up on that mistake. Yay, me.
You've done a really great job so far. So, yeah, it's an interesting
early though.
Yeah. The vast majority of curling clubs that have red and yellow rocks have red at the top of the scoreboard and yellow at the bottom. my club, for whatever reason, at home is the reverse. So I keep looking at it going, why on earth is red on the bottom? But yeah, it's almost always red on top. And then, yeah, the teams are definitely throwing opposite color from where their names are sitting. So should be easy
So
enough to figure.
Lee here looking to put up the center guard.
Yep.
As he's got early control, I guess, of the house, but first and only.
Yeah, well, Team Kleiter has managed to get rid of the center line guards without too much fuss. I think there was probably an idea that if they threw it and hit just perfectly, they might get rid of a yellow in the house. So far, no luck. However, they're working on that, and in the meantime, Team Lee is going to defend their position. The other thing that's nice for Team Lee is they have hammer, so they can start thinking about how they can position their rocks to guarantee themselves a chance at 2 or even more.
100%. And in WCF rules, remember, if you can't change colors. If you throw the wrong rock, you can replace it, but once you've played full out, you can't switch rocks. So they have to switch names.
Yep.
This one's going deep into the back. I think that'll slide out of the house. There we go. It's carried out.
Well, strategically, it was a great idea to add another rock to the house, but that being too heavy means that they're now offering Team Kleiter a way out of jail.
And we called a game on this sheet, and we're going to watch for those runs and that late break as the game progresses.
Well, Matt Hall is second. And basically the task is to get rid of at least one yellow, maybe even both.
Just barely misses. So now distance will come between the two stones, I would believe.
Now Team Lee will definitely split the house, so they have one on either side, making it difficult to get rid of both. And I think hopefully hold their breath as the end reaches this conclusion that they'll have a chance for 2 on the last rock.
Well, it's a nice controlled weight. They're not working the rock really well. Now they start to work it. I think that maybe for me, that's a little bit closer than I would like. Let's see if they're going to drag it deep.
Yeah, once they level them out, it does offer Team Kleiter the chance to try and do something cute like a freeze. But at this point in the game, when both teams are still learning a little bit about the lines and the ice, they're going to play it conservatively and try a very long cross-house double. And if it doesn't work, at the very least, removing one.
I'm not sure if either one of these teams have played on this sheet prior to this game. We'd have to check into that.
Yeah, I can't tell you either. Well, actually, no. Actually, I think I can, because if I'm not mistaken, I've been doing the commentary on sheet 3 for all of my games, and I did have Team Kleiter yesterday. So I think maybe Team Kleiter might have a slight edge in that sense, we're having already played here. And I cannot tap my memory and ask myself, did they throw red or yellow rocks? Sorry.
Well, Dave, next I'm going to hold you to that one.
Yeah. I need to make better notes.
So that was a nice takeout rollover. So we'll see if they answer. I would like, if I'm calling it, I'm going to look to take the red stone out and roll over to the opposite side and make sure that I stick around. That's the big thing.
Yeah, hit and stick. They can roll away from the yellow, from their own yellow, as long as they stick in the house. Ultimately, it just needs to be somewhere in the rings.
So right now we got McDonald and Laycock playing on the other sheet, along with Bryden, and you'll have to help me out here.
I can't tell you from just now. McDonald, Laycock, and is it Team Bryden and
Gozgen?
Oh! That's the Dutch team.
Yes.
Walter Guskens. Yeah.
Guskens.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then we've got Kaloff and Wendling on the other sheet.
Yeah, Dustin Kaltoff. Yeah, probably the youngest skip in the crowd. I'm going to go ahead and guess. He's a fellow that I've come to know quite well through his work with the juniors with the Canadian program, and he was in Kelowna at the Briar. He's a dynamic player who's been involved in curling at a lot of levels. Really terrific to see him here.
So what we've got here is we're looking to take this rock out, bump it back, and roll over. And that's what we're going to get. But it rolls a little bit too far and rolls out. So maybe a blank end.
Yeah, sadly, Team Lee surrendered the chance to get two by hitting and rolling out on the first skip rock. As a result, yes, Team Kleiter is simply able to remove the final yellow stone, and now, obviously, in the choice between 1 point or blank, blank always seems to prevail. So we'll throw a nice shot to watch the lines and learn a little bit from it, and watch it sail right through the house. No, they're not throwing it through. I thought we were on the last shot.
I think the weight is up. Yep. No. Weight is up.
They're trying to freeze. Use that back rock as a bit of a backstop. Oh, that's not too bad. Sorry, for some reason I thought we had got to the point in the end where they were just on the last skip rock. I jumped the gun.
That's okay. It happens.
So now we have Kleiter throwing to remove and hopefully stick around so that he forces the Koreans to deal with his rock in the house. There's no guards, so things are easy to manage as long as you have your lines right.
As we set, the object is to come down, take this stone out. Weight looks good. Has it over curled? No.
That looks pretty good. It's going to stick around. Just hang it on the edge of the 12-foot. Make life difficult for his opponent.
Well, that would force them, right? If they're left with only the opportunity and they can't take this stone out, it would force Lee to take the one, because that's so far out there. It's we were talking yesterday about, even in myself coming from the wheelchair game versus the able-bodied game, that the percentages, even for able-bodied players, as they go out into the wings, dramatically reduces the shot accuracy.
Yep, absolutely. And the key here is that Team Lee wants to hit. Now they still have 2 shots left and they have hammers, so they're okay. But the idea is to hit and to stick around, to be in the rings. And it looks like that's successful. And then if they decide they want to blank, then the challenge will be completely different, because they want to hit and roll out. So they have to totally change the way they play it. But this was very well executed.
Is Team Lee going to Worlds for Korea?
That is one I cannot tell you. I don't think so. I had notes yesterday about that that I thought I had made, and of course, now that we've gone to a new day, I've got new notes. Oh my goodness, who is playing for Team? I can check that. Let me find out, because that's going to bother me if I don't know for sure.
That's a nice takeout.
Yeah,
as we've got a clean house.
Although I would have loved to force them to at least contend with a rock. So
yeah, I spent some time in Korea with the wheelchair team, coaching them, but we don't get to mix with the able-bodied men's or women's team very much.
Okay, so the team from Korea is... No, it's not this team. It's Team Kim.
And you see him throw through, so we're aiming up for the blank end here.
Although I will tell you, interestingly, no,
there we go. Sorry to interrupt, Dave, but here we go. We just saw them switch the names on the board, so
yeah,
now the colors are right. Pardon me.
The colors were always right. It was just the names that were all messed up.
Pardon me for interrupting.
No. By all means, I have pulled up the information for the men's worlds, and here's an interesting thing, which is probably why I was having trouble deciding what I remembered, is that 3 of the 4 gentlemen on the ice are going to the worlds, but not the 4th, and the 4th is the skip. Interestingly, so the skip of the team at the worlds is Hyojun Kim, and then the other 3 who are on. Sorry, Hyojun Kim is going. He's playing Vice. Goodness gracious, what on earth is going on? So the skip who's playing here, that's right. The skip who is playing today is not going to the Worlds. His Vice, who is playing today, will be skipping at the Worlds, as will the 2 front end players, Jinhoon Kim and Jungmin Kyo, are both playing at the Worlds. And let me have a look at their alternate. No, it's not. He's not here either. So 3 of the 4 guys on the ice will be going to the Worlds, not the skip. And there will be a slight order change when they get to the Worlds. So this is, I suppose, a good experience for some of them, getting themselves accustomed to Canadian time zones and some good ice and good competition in preparation. But strangely, the fellow playing skip will not be going, or at least not playing at the Worlds, from what I can tell.
Well, we want to congratulate Team Homan this morning, Team Canada, qualifying for the gold medal match after beating Korea.
Yeah, that went to an extra end. Yeah, extra end. And in fact, they had to steal in order to win that game. Oh, no, or did they? Did they have hammer? I can't remember. Either way, Rachel did not have to throw her last rock. That part we know. So I suppose they must have had hammer. But it was super to see that they did that. Certainly, the Korean women, Team Gim, is very, very powerful. And in fact, one of the losses that Rachel sustained during the week was to that team. They also met that same team in the finals of the Pan-Continental, and Canada prevailed again on the very last shot. So they have a great rivalry.
Skip's final stone here. No, I'm sorry. First stone in this end. We're getting all mixed up here, David.
Well, it's a relaxing Saturday afternoon. I hope too many of our listeners are being patient with us here.
Well, it's afternoon maybe where you are. It's not even noon yet where I am in BC. So he throws up the corner guard. Are we playing the second end?
We are in the second end.
Oh, we didn't go to break. That's why I'm a little bit mixed up here.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's my bad. The production team will get on me for that wing.
Yeah. So there's a corner guard going up for the Korean team because they retained hammer after the first end. It was a blank. They've retained hammer and they're playing the standard sort of textbook center line guards and corner guards. The corner guards are an attempt to keep the play away from the center, and that's very, very typical. And Team Kleiter has thrown one rock into the house, probably wishing that it was a little closer to center. And then this one is coming down in an attempt to put a guard in place. Not really a very effective guard, at least not for the one in the house. And now Team Kim is electing, Team Lee. And you got me saying Team Kim because that's the name of the skip at the Worlds. Team Lee will try to hit and roll underneath.
All right. Well, I think we're all fixed up. The board's right. The rocks are right. The names will get down. Now we just got to get our commercial breaks ready as we go. And the release of the stone. This one.
So it's curling nicely and it will roll somewhat. Probably not quite as far as they wanted, but it's certainly a perfectly useful shot and has taken away the momentum that the Kleiter team was trying to establish. The call here is to do a run back takeout, so red into yellow, and if things line up correctly, they will have basically recovered their position that they were trying to set in the first place. This
Yeah,
is
they've got about half a rock here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Matt Hall's first. So they have successfully removed the yellow rock. Unfortunately, they haven't set up a guard in front situation, and Korea will just come back and play another hit and roll.
would it have been more advantageous for that top rock, red rock that's in guard position to roll on?
Yeah, if it was going to roll that far to the side, I think you're right, Chris. I mean, it's really just providing a guard, not quite a corner guard, I suppose, but a guard away from center.
So this will roll. How far will it roll?
Looks really nice.
Leaving only about a third of the rock. Nice shot.
Again, trying a run back.
I saw them play. They this is fairly elementary for them. I haven't seen them miss many of their run backs.
Yeah, these are tricky. I mean, it's fairly simple for people to make connections with the top rock, but the question is, can we hit it at the correct angle? This is looking very nice. Beautifully
well
done.
executed.
Yep.
All right. They are going to address this. Now, several of the teams yesterday were not addressing the guards early enough, which was getting them into trouble, making the ends a little bit more complex. But this time, they're going to get rid of this fairly quickly.
Well, it appears that it's in such a good spot that they have to do something about the one on the top. And yeah, there you go. It was hit just on the wrong angle. We've managed to get rid of the guard, but the run back was unsuccessful. So gives a chance for Team Kleiter to just come right back with another guard. It's not quite in the center of the house. Ultimately, the middle is more or less wide open as we get closer to the end. But if Team Kleiter's goal is to simply force Team Lee to one, they're on the right track. Another good guard here will go a long way.
Now, do you think, David, that last time they were really looking just for the peel or the run back?
I think they were looking to remove both reds. So I mean, I don't know if you call which one you would call it. The peel obviously is just get rid of the guard. So I think they were trying to basically make contact with both red rocks. Because if they just peel, then essentially what's happening now is bound to happen again. So they simply take out the red guard, and then Team Kleiter will just replace it. Now this is heavy.
So again, just to recap, blank in the first end, we are actually in the second end. And that was a little bit, that was actually quite a bit heavy.
Right. The idea was to guard it up and essentially keep things clean. It looks as if this is a fairly straight run back, which will give the opportunity for Team Lee to have both reds gone and to stay in the house.
Waits up. He gets only the one.
Yeah. Again, that rock did not curl as much as they had expected.
If we see that on the replay, if we can get that, you see it come down and it just curls a little bit too much for them and pops out the opposite side, missing that missing the back red stone.
Well, Team Kleiter has to decide now whether they'd like to split the house or they can guard again. It looks as if they're electing to split the house. So by throwing a second rock in, essentially they're saying to Team Lee, we want to force you to take one. There's not a lot of guards or other things in front at this point. Things are wide open, so by forcing them, they give up a 1 point and take over the hammer. So here we go.
This is Rylan's first stone of the second end.
Mm-hmm.
Might have given it a little bit of an extra push right at the end, thrown into the sweeper's hands. They've really not touched that stone too much at all the way down the sheet. And this will be...
That worked out well.
Nicely drawn to the top four, looking for the double here.
Yeah, when you get the rocks that are lined up almost exactly beside each other, it's harder for the double to be made because the amount of momentum they can carry across is limited. One thing for sure is this rock will be thrown quite hard. And if they don't quite make the double, they just roll, say, underneath or across to the other side of the forefoot. There's no harm there.
Yeah, we had one takeout yesterday thrown hard enough to skip over to the other sheet.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need that much weight, but I think you're right. This one's going to be traveling at some speed. That's not as hard as I thought he was going to throw that.
You're right. Using the out turn, they are going to make contact and roll. Really nicely done.
Did he get it out?
No.
No. That little bit of down weight is what prevented that from carrying that red rock out. So
still a nicely executed shot. Very good line.
Yeah. Opportunity to force them only to take one on this takeout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rylan's got to come down and remove the yellow and basically ensure that he stays in the house somewhere. And from there, I think it will just be a straightforward shot for Team Lee to take their one.
Last rock of the second end for the skip. Line looks pretty good. He's going to get a good roll too here.
Hopefully not too much. He's got to stay in the house somewhere. That worked out.
So
it will be
draw.
Yeah, forcing a draw for 1 point. The good news for Team Lee is that although they're being forced, they have almost the entire house to aim at.
So well executed end by Ryland here to force Team Lee to draw for one with the hammer. Line and weight look pretty good. Is it heavy? And Leo get one. We'll
There
be
you go.
back after this break.
Team Homan rocks. Team Mowat rocks. But who rocks harder? On April 7th, we'll find out. Presented by Rio Mare, join us in Toronto at the Curling Group's first ever Battle of the Sexes, as world number 1 Team Homan takes on world number 1 Team Mowat in a head-to-head charity curling skins game with a twist. 8 ends, 4 rule changes, and curling like you've never seen before. Watch it live on the Grand Slam of Curling website, app, and YouTube, with celebrity coaches and special guest appearances. The Curling Group's first ever Rio Mare Battle of the Sexes, April 7th, Mattamy Athletic Center in Toronto. Get your tickets now at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock!
Hey Ben, what's
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of Curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of Curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. TheRockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Welcome back. We are in the third end, and last end, Team Lee was forced to take one. As we move in to this end, what's your thoughts so far, David?
Well, it's been a fairly straightforward play so far. A few misses that were a little bit unexpected. Primarily, it seems related to their ability to figure out the lines. That seems to be a theme this weekend with this event, where we've seen teams sort of adjust early on to what the ice's demands are in terms of weight and line. But it doesn't usually take very long before they fall into a good routine where they've got things figured out. Team Lee has thrown up a nice centerline guard in an attempt, obviously, to set up a way to steal, to put some pressure on their opponent. Interestingly, Team Kleiter responded not by going away to the wings, to the outside, but staying in the center and using that guard. So the game is on here. We're looking at a number of probably soft weight shots that are going to come around the center guard and try and set up some good angles and small bumps with rocks in the forefoot.
And that's exactly what we get on the lead second stone, just creating a little bit of space between the red, the yellow with the red. So now they're going to come down, and looks like they're going to play the little bit of a bump and a roll.
Yeah, Team Lee will remove one of the red rocks. I don't know that they'll throw a huge weight on this, but they'll definitely throw enough to remove it from the house, and the goal is to roll underneath the high guard that they set for themselves. And that will definitely make things difficult for Team Kleiter. They've got to sort of either consider getting rid of the centerline guard or manufacturing a little bit of a better angle situation. We'll see what happens based on this shot. Well, a nice hit, not quite as much of a roll, and now there's a double available.
That's exactly what they're looking to do here. Making a little bit of a note, make sure I don't lose track of the score here. So this is going to be an upweight double. I don't think there's any risk of losing the rock, the red rock at the back.
Yeah, the goal would be to have both red rocks end up in the house, but certainly the one that's coming down now is going to have to roll away from center a little bit in order to make this shot work.
Needs to come up. Oh,
we've
caught
cleared
it
up.
a little bit too full.
Yep. Cleared up both reds and one yellow, and now they've given the Koreans a chance now to come down and draw right underneath the guard into the top of the 4 foot, maybe even coming down tight to the tee line. We'll see how they do.
Can we get the replay on that last shot? Or perhaps not.
Yeah. So a little
There we
in-turn
go.
draw.
Working this rock, I think they need to let it go just a little bit more in order to get the curl. We've seen that run straight, and the big debate yesterday was whether or not we understand that they had just touched the stones a little bit, which may be getting them to run a bit straighter and then break hard, or whether or not it's the ice. What's your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I didn't hear about when or how much they conditioned the rocks. Normally in an event sorry. Normally in an event like this, they don't need to do a lot of extra work. Once they set everything up at the beginning, they should be fine. There may have been some consideration about whether the rocks were curling effectively, but I think things are pretty good. So I don't really know whether they would have been motivated to do anything about the rocks. The ice can change a little bit as the event wears on, but basically, this time of year when we're doing what you can loosely call spring curling, where humidity and temperature changes outside, sometimes more rain and sometimes warmer temperatures, things can happen on the ice with frost and pebble breakdown. But basically, once the beginning of the event has happened and they've started to get used to things, they should be fine, and I don't think things will change much. Simple little hit and roll. Teams are both trying to get underneath this guard. It's funny, they've put this guard in place, and it hasn't really, nothing ever seems to fall right underneath it in a nice, clean way.
Yeah, we'll watch this rock come down the sheet. It's gonna come down, make contact, and sit right there. I thought maybe they get a little bit of a roll.
Yeah. Yeah, if I observe anything about the paths, it seems that the rocks are not finishing as much as they seem to be expecting. They're sweeping in anticipation of some curl at the end. The old situation where you see rocks that sort of run straight for most of their trip, and then finally at the end they sort of make a move. These ones don't seem to be doing that.
Thanks for our watchers and our fans for sticking with us. We appreciate everybody who watches, and this one looks like it's going to hit right on the nose as well, but fully open. Now hoping for that roll. We'll see how much they compensate.
Well, the easy part is that they can play fairly quickly because the calls are simple. They know exactly what they need to do. Make sure we clarify what is the weight and put the broom down in the right spot for the weight. Let's see if we can make a nice hit and roll.
Stick it out there a little bit.
Trying to help it curl without success.
Going to roll the opposite way.
Yeah.
And out, actually. Well, that's a bit of a surprise, I think. I think they held the line too much, didn't let the rock take any curl at all.
Yeah, no, I think they were attempting to help it curl, but I don't think it worked. Certainly from our perspective, looking down the sheet, that rock did not move much at all.
All right. Vice is, I think, is first of this end. Could be a second. See there. Korean player slide right in the back.
Yeah, well, we're just looking at a simple hit and stick. There's not much
And
chance
that's going to roll away.
Yeah, I was going to say there's not much chance of rolling all the way underneath the guard. And I think both teams are struggling to get the rocks to finish the way that they want, or whether they expect. That one certainly didn't. The one before certainly didn't. So now it's going to be a bit of a challenge. They have to try and find a way to get this shot under the guard, getting the line right, and then obviously the weight just to bring it to the top of the button. Full 4 foot and top of the button would be the goal, I suspect.
Skip's first stones of this third end. They haven't swept this rock at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have loads of room to get by the guard.
Now it'll start to finish just about halfway through the free guard zone. Does it start to break? That didn't break very much. It's hard to see how much is exposed. About quarter of a rock, maybe. And they'll aim. I think the call will be just to aim and come sit on top of it.
Mm-hmm. I've also just noted that after we had that interesting chat about who's going to the men's worlds and what positions they're playing, and that the person listed, Hyojun Kim, as the vice for this event, that's him wearing the red jacket behind the house, and he just threw the skip rock. So I think they have actually switched their positions as they were originally listed for this event, and perhaps just in an effort to get some practice in throwing skip rocks, Hyojun Kim is throwing the skip rocks here for us today. So we get to remember who's doing what, I guess.
Well, there's been lots of changes from the name to the position to, I think only the color of the stones has been familiar. This is a lovely little shot.
Yeah, well, he'll
rolling
definitely
over.
remove the yellow and even stick around, which is nice, forcing the Korean team to deal with it.
So we could have another blank end here, depending on where this stone goes.
Yeah, the idea of hit and roll under cover becomes a lot more difficult when a rock is that deep in the house and that far off center. But let's see what happens. First things first, they have to make contact and hopefully stick around, forcing Team Kleiter to deal with the rock in the house.
Rock makes its way down. It's looking pretty good. I don't know what point that it will be. That'll be a nice nose hit. So
the good news about that shot is that they found the line, and it curled exactly as they expected.
So we anticipate a hit and a roll out in order to blank the end and retain hammer for Rylan. We'll see what we get here in about 10 seconds or so. Last rock of this third end. And I think that's exactly what we're going to get. So blank end in the third. We'll be right back.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Welcome to the rockshop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. Therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to keep you and your farm ahead of the curve. Grow with us at victorycanola.com.
I have an idea.
George Forum. All right, we're back. Welcome back. Give a little bit of a recap of blank end in the first. Team Lee took one in the second, blank end in the third, and now we're playing the fourth with the score 1-0 for Team Lee.
Yep, and Team Kleiter has retained the hammer. That's probably one of the best benefits of that little scenario at the end of last end. They still struggled a little bit with trying to find lines and make hit and rolls that were effective. So with any luck, they'll start to get into a really good groove starting. Well, now we're in the fourth end, so we're basically mid-game. And Team Lee coming down with an attempt to draw behind the long centerline guard. And happily, line-wise, they found things a little bit better now, because that is perfectly behind the center line guard.
And it got a little bit of an extra movement just right at the finish there, so that helped tuck it straight in behind. Remember playing the 5-rock rule, 8 ends in this this event, so they'll come down in behind the red stone. And is it by? Nope, little rub.
Over curled.
Oh, that slid a long way to finish.
Oh, that actually ended up being shot rock. Mind you, it's barely touching the 8-foot. So this opens up the door for Team Lee to hit. Now they could hit and sit right where they are, but they have to be a little bit careful not to leave a double for their opponent. So it'd be better if they rolled one way or the other.
Well, I think, would you prefer it in behind the cover, or?
Well, the problem is that based on where the rocks are lying, I don't think they can get underneath. They can sort of snuggle up beside the yellow, but I don't think they can get underneath it or across the front of it. I think they're just sort of side by side. But it looks like they are trying to roll towards center.
This is going to nose it.
And a little
they
roll.
got a little roll.
Yeah, and now have they left a double? I think at least one yellow will go, and the other yellow will basically move away from the guard. And if they're really lucky, Team Kleiter will also have their own red rock hiding behind the corner guard that they put up. So this could work out very nicely if it hits at the right angle.
Watching the rock make its way down. It's got to curl a little bit more, and I think they're going to get what they need. It looks like a decent shot, but just underweight.
Yeah, they needed to hit a thicker portion of the target rock. They didn't remove either of the yellow rocks, and so now that's a problem. Team Kleiter with the red rocks does have hammer. However, at the end of this shot, if things go well for Team Lee, they're going to be Team Kleiter is going to be staring at 3 rocks in the house and one of them behind cover. So it's time to start thinking about removing that guard. Let's see how we do with Team Lee's draw.
And again, just clarifying, most of this team is the team for the Korean men's team heading to Worlds.
Yes, 3 of them. Yeah, 3 of them, and then they'll be joined by 2 others. And I wish I knew the story there, but I'm afraid I don't. Maybe just a question of availability or something like that. But we're getting dangerously close to the men's Worlds. So,
well, the Korean program is working with that program. It's definitely a little bit of a different program. I hate to say it, but there is some politics that come into play with those teams.
We have an unfortunate miss, I guess you'd have to call it, with the draw, because it came up short. Now it's a nice little additional center line presence. I wouldn't even say it was a guard, but now Team Kleiter, rather than hitting things, has simply decided to come around. And if they can successfully draw into the center behind both of those center line guards, they will make things very difficult for their opponent.
Remember, Kleiter does have hammer.
That's right.
And the scoreboard on our board is correct now. So that's thank you to the production team for getting that fixed.
Another rock coming up a little short. I guess this is better than the first attempt, but both teams are struggling to figure out the speed in this line. And sadly, it didn't really curl enough to get out of the way. So it appears that we have a shot to play to make a play on the red top 12 and sit
3.
Oh, they're drawing.
That's an interesting choice. I mean, I wouldn't want to. You could control the front of the house a little bit better if you remove the red stone. Again, not having the hammer. But I guess drawing in behind cover forces Kleiter to, I would think after that he'd just peel and open the front, would he not?
Well, he may do. It'll depend on where this rock ends up. Both teams are having trouble getting the rocks to finish and hide effectively behind these guards. So if they throw it around the guard and it hides well, they'll have to open things up. They won't have a choice. But if there's a piece of the rock available or an opportunity to draw in, my guess is Team Kleiter will take advantage. So it comes down to where we are with this rock, where it finishes. Top 4 would be nice. Top button.
Here comes the rock. Not really working the rock that much, so the weight looks reasonable, or at least they're happy with the weight. Now it's got to finish. And that one's...
Line's good.
Is it going to finish?
T-line weight. Okay. Well, the only downside of that is that Team Kleiter has realized quite quickly. Rylan stepped up immediately with his broom and said that it's deep enough that we can just throw down to it. And if we bump it even 6 inches, I think that they'll sit shot. So let's just see how they do. Again, it comes down to getting this combination of line and weight correct, both from the called side and from the throw side. So let's see how they manage.
Well, they're not jumping on it. So the weight, they must be happy with the weight.
Needs to curl a bunch.
It'll finish hard. It's starting to move sideways now. You know, get the little, looking for the freeze, and that's what they moved it a little bit. Got a little bump, but pretty good.
No, that's a very useful shot. I mean, there's so many different things that can happen now for Team Collider with that red rock. It's very hard to remove. The best thing that Team Lee can do is just to come down and basically add to the pile and try and set up some good angles so they can tap and move rocks around. But right now, although Team Lee's yellow rock is shot, they have to work awfully hard to protect.
Yeah, they're playing catch up a little bit here, eh? Repeated the last shot, last two shots actually. So that's placed nicely.
So Team Collider is looking at that in terms of the physics and just saying if they hit it on the outside, they should be able to move the red rock back onto the button. But they're also obviously looking at a number of choices. Here comes the entire team to have a chat.
I'm looking from above. They're looking to hit this across. The redstone might jam on the back yellow, but it wouldn't make contact with the yellow in the back 8, I don't think.
I think you're right. It comes down to the physics here. There's a lot about the drag effect. If those rocks are stuck together, what will happen when they contact the yellow? What will happen to the red? I think it's possible to bump the red back into the yellow on the button and basically replace it as shot rock. The other factor they have to consider is where do they leave other rocks after everything settles and stops. I mean, if they give the other team options to use other rocks to come in or to hit and roll, that can also open the door for an escape. So they want to make sure that they take over shot rock, but also take away opportunities for their opponent.
100%. And they're going through all the options here, except for one person. Mr. Hall has walked down the other end of the ice. They've decided something. Not quite sure what it is. Well, I think they might be following this one down. Or
based on the position of the broom. Boy, oh boy. I'm assuming they're trying to hit a small portion of the rock in the yellow rock in the top of the forefoot and drive their red back into the other. Yellow.
I don't think the angle is there for what they're looking for.
Well, not a lot of ice, so we're assuming this is not going to curl much. Now he's wide of the broom. They're trying desperately to help it curl. Oh my goodness. Well, that's the worst case scenario, sadly. He missed the one he was shooting at, the yellow, and hit his own red thinly and moved it straight sideways, leaving yellow.
Let's look at that one again. Let's see what happened there.
Yeah. Now, he threw it wide of the broom, and they tried to help it curl. Yep, and he hit his own red as opposed to hitting the yellow. And obviously, the result is that the yellow rocks are now lying 1 and 2 in the forefoot, and it's totally changing the opportunities for Team Lee now with their next shot.
So here's the first time I've seen this done. They've called a timeout.
Yeah, they've been doing it, although sometimes it's hard to tell when they call the timeout because there's no coach that comes out. They
There will
simply.
be right now.
Oh, really? Is there somebody coming?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
running in the background.
Okay. Because there he is. You're right. That's the thing that always gives away whether there's a timeout or not.
Well, they only have a certain amount of time. I think it's 30 seconds to get down or something.
Yeah, normally that they have what they call travel time for the coach. Some amount of time, and the travel time is different depending on whether the timeout is called at the close end or the far end. Usually much more generous when the coach has to cover the entire length of the curling facility. But
yeah, and that varies in
yep.
wheelchair curling as well, because
Sure.
it's often if you have a wheelchair-bound coach,
Yep.
then there's a little bit longer travel time. So I think they're making a play to come down on this red stone and roll in.
Yep.
Which would definitely put the pressure on. Remember, Fighter has hammer in this end.
Yeah, this isn't a situation where they're paying a lot of attention not to their own options, but to what they think their opponent might want to do. One of the things I love to do or love to see players do in curling is to say, what do you think your opponent wants to do? And what can you do to make life difficult for that particular idea? So this one, if they can take out the red that they've got basically right beside the target broom and roll toward the forefoot, they'll really take command in this situation. We have to remember there's a long guard that's not easy to see most of the time, but there's a long guard that's also getting in the way.
So it needs to curl a bit more. He's
Looks pretty good.
The guard, doesn't get the roll as much as he wants, only gets the roll for about quarter of the rock.
That it's made the shot call, at least for Team Kleiter, fairly obvious. They have to try and make a play on this red. It's not entirely accessible. I'd say it's probably about 3/4 visible. And they have to hit pretty much everything they can see. This will be a tough shot.
I saw a little peek over on the Laycock game, and Mr. Laycock looked like he was getting beat up on there. And the score is 6-0 for McDonald over Mr. Laycock on that other sheet so far.
Yeah, it's hard for us to see. I guess you can see on the one board. It's hard for us to see the scores of the other sheets. All right, here we go. Intern with a fair bit of weight, trying to drive the red back into the yellows. Okay, that's a pretty good start.
And he got second shot out of it.
Now, is he visible enough for the Korean team to make a play on the red shot now and essentially leave themselves lying 4? I don't know, honestly, if we can see enough of it. If they play using their own yellow as a bit of a backing, they could probably remove the yellow and the red and lie 3.
If they put the broom down in the middle of the yellow stone, I think it will finish enough, depending on the weight, in order to take that red stone out. But it looks like they're going to draw, maybe looking at the draw on the opposite side, taking away the open draw.
That's another acknowledgement of the interests of their opponent and saying, well, if we play on the one side where all the rocks are, we leave the other side wide open for our opponent to simply draw at the end. So it's not a bad idea. Top forefoot. Yep, he's got it. He put his broom top of the forefoot or the top of the button. Ideally, this shot should be just far enough into the forefoot to be second shot, and hopefully tucked a little bit behind the guard. And that will make life very difficult for Team Kleiter.
Well, let's see what the Korean skip does on his last stone here of this fourth end. With a lead of 1, putting the pressure on Team Kleiter. It's a little heavier than what they want. See how it finishes.
This needs to curl and sit down.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
It is really quite heavy. I guess that's the advantage I have. I'm used to seeing these 0 to hero stones or 0 to 0 because in wheelchair curling we do not have sweeping.
Mm-hmm.
So you either get it right
Mm-hmm.
or you're praying.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's no sweeping at all with the wheelchairs. You're right, and that can make it very, very challenging.
I'd love to see them actually incorporate at least one sweeper into it. I think that's possible.
With that person just sweeping, or would they also be throwing rocks?
No, just designated sweeper. I mean, it'd be tough to recruit somebody who wants to do that the whole game.
I was going to say, I don't know if you'd find too many volunteers to say, okay, we want you to curl, but only sweep. No, yeah, I don't know.
All right, so Mr. Kleiter here is going to be drawing pressure on.
Yep.
To tie this game. I don't see how he would be able to get. He might be able to get 2 if it curls enough.
Yeah, I suppose, but I think that the main goal is make sure,
heavy.
number 1, that you get a point.
This is heavy. That might be exactly what he's looking to do. It did not curl enough for him.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be a steal of 1 for Lee. After 4, we'll be right back.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Sasktel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? Sasktel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Hey, Ben, what's the Aztec safety?
Oh. Welcome back. Oh, sorry. got a little bit of feedback there. Welcome back. It's the fifth end. Team Lee up after got another game going on in the background there. My apologies. Take it away, Dave. Catch
Sure.
us up.
No, we're back, and we're now in the fifth end. Team Kleiter and Team Lee. Team Lee, throwing the yellow rocks, has just managed to steal in the fourth end, so they have taken a 2-0 lead. Team Kleiter is yet to get on the board. They have one blank to their credit, and one given up one steal, so they're anxious to get themselves sorted out and get on the board. The key here would appear to be that we're having trouble finding the right lines here. The rocks are not finishing the way we're expecting, and so a lot of the shots that have been thrown by both teams are simply not finishing, curling up the way they're expecting. Anyway, we've got a good situation going on here with the really good textbook curling. Center line guard, rock in the house behind the center line guard for the team without hammer, trying to steal, and two corner guards for the team with hammer, trying to play away from center. So the textbook has been read, and we're off to the races for end number 5.
Thanks for that, Dave. Again, you're watching the Speedy Creek Shootout on the Curling Zone, Curling Stadium, and we're looking forward to next season as well. This kind of a warm-up for the Men's World Championships. Lots of teams here with members. Not all team, but at least main team.
Yep.
As Korea looking to make their way down here, really working this rock hard for weight. And I think that you said it there a minute ago, David, about how the ice line and weight controls really not what they're expecting.
Yeah, it's been interesting. As I pointed out before, they generally tend to get on track, partway through the game, a couple of ends, 3 ends, maybe to find their comfort level with finding the lines and the weights. But these guys seem to be struggling even now. Certainly that fourth end, there were several shots missed just because the lines were wrong. However, they're managing and they're moving along. We do have some teams, as you say, who are here basically in preparation for the Men's Worlds that's coming up in Moose Jaw. By coming to Saskatchewan, already in the vicinity, if you're from a country where you need to try to deal with jet lag, it's a good idea to give yourself an extra week to sort out the time change. The recent event, or almost finished event, in the Women's Worlds is over in Uiseong, Korea, and I still can't imagine how it must have been for the Canadian ladies to sort of turn their routines upside down for a 13-hour time change. But they did it successfully. And now, by the time they get to the end of the event, they'll just be perfect. They'll be completely adjusted, and it will be time to come back and do the entire process in reverse. So I don't know if I envy that, but it'll be okay. Nice celebration. So
had a nice takeout there.
Yep.
And now they're going to follow it down, trying to get onto the scoreboard. Again, playing 8 ends, so we're getting a little bit later into the game. Still lots of time, and the score is not that outrageous.
Well, what's happening here is, instead of seeing a sort of a higher weight hit from Team Kleiter, we're now seeing them play a little bit more of a tap game. They're strategically trying to manage shots by bringing the weight down. That's a good setup shot. You've got a rock in position, and so now it's forcing the Koreans to make adjustments. They have options, though. They can remove reds that are corner guards. They've already taken out one, and if they looks like they're choosing to take out the other, keeping play toward the center. They do have shot rock for the moment. They just have to be a little bit careful that Team Kleiter doesn't come down and take advantage of that rock in the top of the 8-foot, that they can pop right straight back into the yellow and take over control of the house.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. Korea's playing well. I mean, a couple of misses, but overall, they're playing well. I think we've seen a couple more misses as this red stone aims to peel out and they bump over, and will that one hang around? It will.
Yep.
So a little bit of a setup, kind of looking like it did an end ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, they've moved, interestingly, they've moved the red rock that was at the top of the 12-foot sideways. And by doing that, they've taken away Team Kleiter's option to basically bump their own rock back into shot rock and potentially sit 2. They can still use that rock. They could tap it forward, for example, into the 4-foot. However, the opportunity to get rid of that shot rock, which is sitting behind cover in the 8-foot, is now a little bit more limited.
Discussion going on, what to do. Trying to make sure they definitely need to get on the board this end, Kleiter. It'd be better to get the 2. I mean, 1 wouldn't be horrible, but I certainly, it's not looking like a blank end like we saw. We had 2 blank ends already.
Looks as if they're trying to just open things up.
Yeah. And I guess you wouldn't expect that.
There is technically, I suppose, a double here available if they want to run the yellow back straight into the other yellow. They could split both of them off. But that would be counter to what Rylan's goal seems to be at bringing his weight down for this end. Yep, this is a straight tap.
And it looks pretty darn good, actually.
Mm-hmm.
To sit
worked out well.
2, they're sitting 1 and 2. So we'll see how Korea now responds. They should peel one of those out, or
no? I think they're choosing between running their tapping or running their yellow back into one of the reds, or the other option they have is to just draw. The draw idea, though, doesn't work too well because they end up leaving both reds at the top of the house. That's a bit dangerous.
trying to make sure that they hit it in the right way.
Technically, you want to be one side of the nose or the other. Just don't hit it dead straight through the hole.
Yeah, that would be a little bit of a disastrous situation for them, I would think.
Yeah, so this is JaeBeom Lee, and the guy whose name is on the sheet is the skip. He is throwing vice rocks.
Here comes the throw. The weight's up. It's got a little bit more rotation. He's got to be careful. This looks nose. Gets
Pretty
a little
much.
bit.
Yeah, it did move the reds, but essentially red is still lying 1-2. So sadly, that little last-minute adjustment they made with the broom may have been what led to that miss.
And I think this goes back to what you were saying earlier. I think both these teams are struggling to figure out this sheet in regards to the line at least. We've seen everything from lots of rotation to minimal rotation. And now, he wants to address this stone at the back of the 12 that's barely on.
I'm not sure if he's looking at it, playing it as a hit because he feels he has to remove it so much as an opportunity to throw a rock down that line and sit 3. If he comes up short, he still sits 3. If he hits it and taps it out, as long as he doesn't throw ridiculous weight, he'll be sitting 3 as well. See what happens here. Based on this line, I think we're talking about a fairly down weight shot.
Lots of rotation on the stone, which is going to hold that line. It's not, that's barely moved at all. Nice weight. does the job.
And they've left the hit and roll for Team Lee. We'll see if they manage to do it. The other option they have if they want to try drawing, but the thing is, I think it's in their best interest at this point to remove something red. If they play the run back on their own yellow, they do have a chance to remove 2 reds. Just have to make sure we use exactly the right angle. Although Team Kleiter has been definitely throwing the softer weights, playing things with a little bit less weight. Team Lee has not slowed down in terms of the weights they're choosing. This rock will be moving at a fairly good clip.
Well, let's see what he does out of the hand. They're on it right away. Nose hit, gets 1, gets 2.
Very nice. I don't know that they were even paying attention to the rock in the back of the house because nobody was sweeping it to make sure, but it did trickle out, I think, right out the back and removed 2 of the Team Kleiter's red rocks and actually sitting shot.
And Kleiter will now come right after this.
Hit and roll underneath would be a lovely result. Lying 2 with hammer. And in a situation where it's awfully difficult for Team Lee to keep them from getting 2, they'll have a chance to try and hide something, but we'll see how this one goes. They definitely need to find the right line. We can't afford for this to flare or to hang out as some of the other shots have.
So he gives it a push. I don't think he quite got the speed out of the hack that he wanted. And this one's, it looks pretty good. He's going to get the yellow, gets the roll, but it rolls just a bit too far. And Lee can get it through that port.
Yeah, I think there's a level of exposure, although it is somewhat buried, somewhat covered by the guard. The other option, he can just go ahead and play the one in the wings and roll under. I think he's electing to do that. This one will be thrown with a lot of weight. If they successfully get across and make a double, great. And if they don't and they just roll underneath, that's not bad either. As long as they're sitting shot, yellow sitting shot, it forces red to deal with the situation. A couple of very good options. Plan A and Plan B.
Yeah, it's always nice to have the extra plans, and doesn't hurt. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Here comes the throw. Lots of rotation, lots of speed.
Wow.
And he noses it.
Well, that's unfortunate because although he did remove a red rock, he didn't make things too difficult. I mean, Team Kleiter can even ignore this and just draw if they want. They have 1 now, but I think their plan will be to simply hit. And if they hit and stay anywhere in the house, they'll score 2. And bring
Well, if you're struggling, yeah, sorry to interrupt there, David.
Nope.
But if it's a matter of struggling a little bit, I think the hit's the easier option. And we saw a couple of stones go long, I think 2 ends ago. So making sure that all your options are there are the good part. We'll see what he does. Is it a hit? Yeah, should be a hit.
They want to make sure they hit it on the inside of center and sit 2. 2 red.
So we're all tied up after 5, heading into 6. We'll see you in a minute.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sasktel.com/sponsorships.
The people have spoken, the votes are in, and the players are ready to rock. At curling's first ever all-star event, live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th, where 13 of the world's best men's and women's curlers face off for a star-studded celebrity pro-am, a unique skills competition, and an all-star skins game you won't want to miss. Got a ticket? We'll see you in Music City. Don't have one? Better hurry. They're going fast. The 2025 TCG All-Star Game, live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th. Let's rock.
Hi, I'm Jane. And I'm Rick, and Jane and I are the owners of Sprague Foods Limited here in Belleville, Ontario, in the Bay of Quinte area. We're a food processing facility, and we can a whole range of products, including soups and sauces and rice pudding and beans.
All right, welcome back. 6-10, tie game. And the word of this game is about figuring out this sheet of ice, David.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge getting the lines. I will say that by bringing the weight down, which has seemed to be what Team Kleiter has decided to do on all different shots they've thrown, especially the upweight shots, instead of throwing sort of a heavier board weight or even beyond that, they're just bringing the weight down, and they're able to control a line a lot better. And well, they were rewarded with 2 points, which is their first notch on the scoreboard, but a nice 2, and a 2-all tie in the 6th, with Team Lee now taking over with Hammer with the Yellow Rocks.
So a lot more rocks being played down this side of the sheet. Last end, Rylan had a tentative opportunity to draw, but I think he played the safety shot in the takeout, and there we have a beautiful draw. Not very easy to get to that one, but they'll try and draw down right on top of it here.
Yep. Yep. In a situation like this, nobody can take anything out yet, particularly those nice rocks on the center line with the no-tick rule. So we just have to simply throw a draw, try to position the rock into a nice spot where it can be used.
Yeah, and that's these rule changes by the World Curling Federation have really changed how the strategy and somewhat of the tactics go for most of these games.
Yeah, there's been a few things about the no-tick rule. You know, the situation is that a lot of times when the no-tick rule is violated, it's, you know, you accidentally bump the rock as you're coming around. So skips are just a little more careful where they put the broom to make sure they stay away from the, you know, the rock that's not to be touched, so to speak. But in the end, I don't think it's affected things as much as we all thought it would. The initial reaction to the no-tick rule was quite intense. And,
it was.
But now I think we're all taking it in stride, and we seem to be doing just fine. We don't play the no-tick rule in my club. You know. I actually asked somebody one time, said, "Are we playing the no-tick rule?" And the response I got was, "What's that?" And so I said, oh dear. Okay, so I guess the answer is no, which is fine. I don't think it really has much of an effect at the club level.
All right, this one looks pretty good. I think it needs to curl more to get the roll. They'll nose it.
Mm-hmm.
So there is the possibility there for a double, I believe, if they hit it on the high side.
Mm-hmm.
It might drive the rocks away, but they're definitely going to hit one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to whether they want to try and roll underneath cover. And if I would argue that for red, without hammer, the benefit of being under the center would be pretty significant. And so maybe they would consider that. They could obviously hit it on the outside and try for the double, but then if they do, there's no chance of rolling under cover. So this is definitely rolling.
The guard.
This is definitely rolling in. Yeah.
They get second. They don't quite get shot rocked, but that was a really well thrown stone. Let's see that one again. Here. Gets just past the guard. Beautiful weight and rock management to roll in. What a great shot.
It turned out well.
Here's the Korean team getting ready. I believe they're just drawing down here.
Yeah, this is Jungmin Pyo, and he's touching the red at the very least to move things out of the way. Essentially, he's removed a center guard and basically added another corner, which for the team with hammer is a lovely idea. They are shot and they are now exposed. However, the number of options have just opened up significantly.
Well, there's a call. The initial call was for the guard. Would you come down and address that yellow stone and roll in behind, playing behind the tee line? I don't think so. But the guard is the call.
Yeah, we're just essentially, I think, trying to put a rock back where the one was that was just removed. I think we're looking more at the idea of setting things up for the final part of the end.
I agree with that right now. They're not really working it, so it might be a little bit heavier than what they wanted. We'll have to see. We have a hard time determining what the actual weight is until it gets into the screen. That's all right.
That rock turned out pretty well. So we have a double guard situation. The red rock that's at the top of the forefoot is well protected. However, it's not shot rock. So they could probably access it and move it sideways. I don't think they can hit it dead on the nose.
No.
But there's a lot of options in terms of setting things up. We're now just getting into vice rocks. So we have 4 rocks to come. And to some extent, the curlers are thinking ahead about what they'll do in a combination with their 4 shots. This looks like it's going to be a very downweight shot. Draw maybe right up to the corner, possibly even tapping the red. Setting up an extra point in the house behind cover. Yeah, if they cover half of the red and half of the yellow behind, they have simultaneously an effective guard and a rock that they can promote for more points. the right place here could be absolutely deadly.
Well, it all comes down to execution and understanding how this rock is going to react. We've been struggling. Well, they've been struggling all afternoon. Let's see if they've got this one figured out. It's not moving very much. It'll break late.
That's a pretty
Not
good
bad.
result. Yeah, I mean, considering where they had the broom, what they were thinking, if they had been another foot deeper and perhaps just the tiniest bit more centered on the center line, it might be better. I think Team Kleiter now, Rylan is holding the broom. I think they can throw a rock down through the port and bump the yellow in the back of the 4-foot out with a good enough level of curl, even rolling a little bit undercover. Let's see how they manage.
That's absolutely the call. Here comes the throw. Weiss's second rock of the 6-10 in the 2-2 tie. Lee with hammer. He's got to move. He's got to move. He's a little frustrated because it's going to wreck on that yellow guard and pull that into place. And now here's some danger. Are they going to make a play to do that raise?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they put it there for a reason. The question is, do they do it now or wait? And I think they sort of see, hey, we've got an opportunity. Let's take advantage of it. Because certainly that shot by Team Kleiter was not successful. Just got outside the line and never really curled back for them.
So this could be a very deciding rock in this end. But we noticed again, and we saw this on the last rock by Kleiter's team, struggling to get the lines correct, calling the right line. That, or as you mentioned, David, whether or not the predictability of the finish is correct.
Well, this rock is curling a little bit more than they had hoped. Is it going to get by the guard? No. Well, actually, it did get by the guard, ticked it, but then the result is not nearly what they were hoping for.
Yeah, the execution tolerance on that was 0, and they just, I think, maybe threw it a bit inside. The sweepers were really trying to keep the line on that one.
Yeah,
rubs the guard, and now I think it's trying to figure out where to put it so that it curls.
Yeah,
and
well, Team Kleiter is licking their chops because they know that if they can draw one behind the guards, probably about half buried, so that it partially covers the red rock at the top of the button, they'll make life very, very difficult for their opponent. However, if they leave it vulnerable, there's also a double possibility, so they have to be very careful on this. It seems like a great opportunity, and it's a reason to say, hey, great, we got a break, but they have to make sure they follow that with the right shot.
Skipper's first stone of the 6-10, looking to get a bit of a guard into position. We'll see what goes on. He needs it to sit down perhaps a little bit. Might be a bit too hot.
Yet again,
wow.
If I'm honest, Team Kleiter seems to be throwing rocks out a lot wider than they had planned. Good news, they've thrown a perfectly nice guard, but I don't see how they're going to. I suppose they're not necessarily worried about scoring extra points. They're forcing the Koreans to throw basically a raised takeout. And it's certainly there. It's long, but it's there. A nose hit on the rock that Rylan Kleiter just threw.
Well, there's two.
Get them that result they need.
Are there not, David?
Sorry, say again?
Are there not the opportunity to come at this one of two ways? You can attack the one next to the center line, or you can attack the other one.
Yep. I think they could technically use any one of the three reds. However, they're electing to throw the one that's closest to center, and this is essentially just a straight run back. If they hit it dead on the nose, they'll remove 2 reds, and they'll be lying 3. Chance to sit 3, which is not a bad thing when you have hammer.
No. Looks pretty good.
Roll. Oh, well, it didn't quite roll the way they wanted, but a pretty good shot. And the resulting shooter has been left right in the gap, which takes away Team Kleiter's option to come down that same path again, forcing them to the other side, the outturn side.
So they've got to draw in.
Yep, they have to draw, and it has to be good.
I mean, that red stone that was shot did roll far over, and it's basically wide open down that far side.
Rylan has to be careful here. This has to be a good result that forces Team Lee to deal with it, the shot he's about to throw, because I think that the red rock that rolled out into the outside of the 8-foot on the last shot is now vulnerable and represents a chance for a big score. So, shot.
Last rock of the end for Rylan Kleiter. Yeah, I can talk this afternoon. I really can. It's definitely past the guard.
Looks a bit heavy.
Actually, looks pretty darn good. And I think he got shot rock out of it.
Yeah, it's basically taken away any chance that the Team Lee had of addressing the other red. And they have to make a shot down to this one. If they can throw the same shot they just saw, then essentially they'll score 2. Yep. Draw for 1. If it's heavy enough to come back to the nose of the red and bump it back, even what looks like an inch or 2, they should get 2.
Well, from our perspective, at least from what I'm seeing here, it looks like red is lying shot rock, yellow 2. So as you say, they don't have to move it very far to get 2, 1 or 2 inches. It definitely looks like red is shot rock.
Yep. If it is red, and I think you're probably right, it's not red by much. Here comes the final shot of the end. An outturn draw, back 4-foot weight, and an attempt to bump and sit 2.
It's got a curl. Looking pretty straight, actually.
Well, got 1.
That's not the easy way to get 1. Kind of give you a little bit of a heart attack there, but Lee gets 1 at the end of 6, going into 7. We'll see you in a minute.
Team Homan rocks. Team Mowat rocks. But who rocks harder? On April 7th, we'll find out. Presented by Rio Mare, join us in Toronto at the Curling Group's first ever Battle of the Sexes, as World #1 Team Homan takes on World #1 Team Mowat in a head-to-head charity curling skins game with a twist. 8 ends, 4 rule changes, and curling like you've never seen before. Watch it live on the Grand Slam of Curling website, app, and YouTube with celebrity coaches and special guest appearances. The Curling Group's first ever Rio Mare Battle of the Sexes, April 7th, Mattamy Athletic Center in Toronto. Get your tickets now at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock!
Hey Ben, what's the odds?
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of Curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of Curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. TheRockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
All right, welcome back. Story of this game so far is figuring out lines. 3-2 for Lee. Kleiter has the hammer. What are we going to get out of this end?
Well, we started off with the centerline guard, and rather than putting up corners, the team with hammer, Team Kleiter, has decided to go around, so we're playing to the center. Team Kleiter now has an opportunity because of the slightly heavy shot by Team Lee to bump yellow, bump their opponent's rock back or out, and if they can roll just under the guard, they'll be off to an incredibly good start.
Well, only 8 ends to play.
Yeah, we're in the 7th in a very close game, so this may come down to the odd shot just slightly wide or narrow or slightly heavy or light. There's not a lot to pick between these two teams.
Not at this point. I mean, any other day, maybe. But a team heading in to Worlds like most of Team Lee is, you wouldn't expect any different. This rock making its way down, looking to curl. It needs to curl here. And it is...
Weight is perfect.
Going to give a little tiny bump, not too much.
That was a really nice shot. That's the kind of shot that forces your opponent to react to it, and also is extremely difficult to deal with because it's not easy to remove. Very nicely played.
And Kleiter should be able to make it into one of the top 8 positions that will advance to playoffs in this particular event, I would think. Being 3-0 up to this point, and this game, of course, far from over. As this rock makes its way down, trying to get on top of that yellow stone, I do believe, David.
Yep.
And will it finish? Lots of red in the house this time. Now, what do? You can come at that any number of different ways. So putting it in the pocket, I think, might be the best way to address this early in the end. Again, there is quite a bit of this end to finish so far.
Now the house is starting to get pretty busy. So one of the things you have to do is just not let things accumulate. We'll see what I assume Team Lee is trying to do is just remove the red and roll into a more advantageous position. Looks as if it's a little narrow.
It's past the front red, front yellow onto red.
Very nice.
Was a little bit sad to hear of Big George Foreman passing away yesterday.
Yeah, quite a legend.
Not a curler, but
no. Oh, we don't know that. Maybe he was a curler.
That would be interesting to have seen George Foreman curl. I gotta admit. Here comes this stone by Mr. Hall, looking to move some stones around, and very well done.
Well, he certainly moved some stones around. I think he probably had ideas about moving only reds out of the house, and he has left red lying shot.
I'm not sure he wanted to move reds out of the house, considering they're red.
Sorry. Team Kleiter is throwing red. You're right. Well,
I'm like,
did
something change again, Dave?
Yeah, no, it's possible. It's possible. No, you're right. The situation here has been, because the rock positions have changed enough to force the Koreans to come down and take another look and say, okay, now everything's changed. What are we going to do? I think they had some good ideas, and now they're having to recalculate. They can just come down and draw underneath the guard. It looks like that's what they've decided to do. One side of the house, one side of the entire sheet is wide open. So they can take advantage of that while it's still that way.
Well, not much debate on this. The broom went down pretty decisively. Seventh end, Team Lee leading 3-2 over a yet defeated Kleiter team in this particular event out of Swift Current.
The line is fabulous, but I don't know if they've got enough weight. Oh, the sweepers managed to drag it beautifully. Excellent shot. The Team Kleiter want to come down and just sit right on top of that rock, which is a great idea. Question is, do you throw the in-turn or the out-turn?
I like the in-turn.
Yeah, and then now the conversation has shifted to the idea of doing a run back on the red guard in front of the house.
Well, the only challenge you have with that is the yellow and red that are sitting on top of the 4, which I wouldn't want to play the guessing game as to who shot. I think they're sitting pretty much touching. So lots of different things could occur with that.
So we're trying to just run the red guard straight back. And that's worked out quite well. The yellow rock at the back of the forefoot is vulnerable.
Now, would you say yellow or red is shot? Not that it's going to matter in a second.
I think red, but I'm not. It's not obvious. Either way, they have to address those two red rocks. With some weight, there's a double there, but I'm not certain they can get by the guard and make that shot with enough weight.
Yellow.
You like yellow? Okay.
I think yellow is shot there.
So then they could draw in for a second point.
They could.
It'd be hard to get to them if they put one in the top of the button on the center line. This is where we need to be able to hear what they're saying.
100%. Well, they're thinking about it.
Yeah, I think this is a draw. It's either a draw or a guard, but I can't imagine why they would guard. If they throw something that's acting as a guard, they still want it to be deep enough that it can be a useful rock in terms of scoring. We're getting late in the game. This is the 7th. With hammer, you've got to get at least 2, or try to blank and take that hammer all the way to the 8th end. Right now, with all these rocks in play, I think the only option is to try to get 2 or more.
No. Skip's
JaeBeom
first
Lee.
stone. Nope.
No,
Vice
no.
is second
This is,
stone.
yeah, this is JaeBeom Lee. He's throwing Vice rocks, so we have... Oh, we're down to skip stones after this. Line's looking great. Can they get it far enough? This looks fantastic. Come on.
What a great shot. Let's see that one again. That was a really well-managed stone.
Yeah, that they seem to know instinctively that they had a long way to go in order to drag the rock, but they managed to get it into a really good spot. It's quite well hidden, especially with that last little
flick up.
Yeah, that little twist that it did just as it stopped. And very difficult to remove because it's so well protected by the long guard and even by the positioning of the red stones in the house. Very difficult to access the yellow. Team Kleiter may be forced to just throw a draw and hope for the best. So they seem to have decided what to do, and based on where the broom is going down, they're going to try and throw.
Not a draw.
No, they're throwing weight. I think they can see enough of the yellow that was just thrown to remove it. And they may be right, but the shooter will not stick around.
No, I'm wondering if they're looking for a little bit of downward roll.
Well, they may also be thinking to themselves that red is shot, between the two close ones on the edge of the forefoot, that red is better. If that were the case, then just removing the yellow is a good idea. Okay. They're trying to make this curl, and they're going to get a piece of the yellow, but will they get enough? Yeah. So strategically, it appears that both teams think theirs is the best shot. It's going to be interesting because I think you will end up with a measure for that, and that could end up being a very key point.
I won a national championships once on my eyes, and I think yellow is shot.
Okay. Yeah, the only reason that I have any doubt at all is because I've learned over the years that these cameras, although you think you're looking very clearly at everything, if they're at an angle, then it can be a little deceptive exactly how close rocks are. But we're trying the same shot again, a draw.
I think so.
And hopefully to have it curl a little bit farther underneath so that it's not accessible with that downweight hit that we just saw. This is Hyojin Kim, who is throwing skip rocks. First of 2.
Kleiter has the hammer, and this has gotten to be, I think, the most complicated end we've seen so far this game.
Yep. This needs to curl. Weight looks fantastic. Yep.
All right, so watch them to come down on top.
They're going to make a play on that rock, I suspect. Question will be whether they try and throw down weight and just get to the nose and push it straight back, or hit on an angle as they did with their last one. This is Rylan Kleiter's first of 2. The good news for Team Korea is that they really have made things difficult for the team with hammer. Team Kleiter has hammer, but they've got some work to do in order to score more than one.
They definitely seem to have finally figured out the ice.
Mm-hmm. Bringing the weight down seems to have helped a lot. Here we go.
All right, skipper's first stone. Behind by 1 in 7, playing 8 ends. Looking to get on top of the yellow stone and the top of the 4-foot. See what he's got here. Gives it a little push. They're working that rock. They're past the guard.
Past the first guard. Wow.
What a great shot.
Yep. Worked out beautifully.
Now, we want to take a look at that overhead shot and see what that looks like up close. Well, now the question is
yeah,
are you sitting first or second? I think they're now, I don't know, that's pretty close. That one I'm not going to call, David.
It's just awfully close. The only thing we can say, I think, is the red they just threw is better than the original red.
True.
But
true,
that's,
true. Between the red that's on the center line and that yellow at the back, it's so close to call, and it'll depend on so many variables. I mean, the circles I've seen come into play once or twice. I haven't seen a measure yet on any of the sheets, so they're trying to question it now. And they're not even going to help us out by gesturing which one they think is shot. Skips
Simple
last
draw.
stone.
Yep. Simple draw coming in turn. We need to aim for T-line weight, top button weight, and we have to make sure we watch the line so we get around this red rock that's at the top of the 4-foot.
This is hanging out here. Is it going to curl and rub now?
Definitely heavy. So they're using their own backing.
Well, there's no question who shot.
That's right.
But here's an opportunity for 4.
I
if
think
they
you're
can
right.
get down. It's definitely an opportunity for 4. He's just got to get and bump that yellow stone back about 6 inches.
Well, more than 6 if he wants 4.
Yeah, true.
He needs about 3 feet.
Yeah.
Can you see enough of it? It's about half visible.
The way it finishes, I think you can get to the face of that stone.
Mm-hmm. It may be easier to just play with the strategy of getting rid of the yellow. Maybe your shooter will roll away, and then you still have 3. That'd be my thought. Because if you're trying to be so careful to make sure that you throw down weight and stick around, and for any reason it doesn't curl the way you hope, and you end up with 1 or 2, that can really change the game.
And I think they like your call.
Yep.
I think they're going to go and take the 3 rather than aim for 4.
Now, this is definitely going to be moving. And if they can hit basically what they can see, frankly, even less than what they can see. Sorry, is that the right way of putting it? They don't have to hit everything they can see. I think they should be fine. And as we have observed, it looks like that's a chance for a nice score of 3.
It's almost like they're picking it out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, come over a bit.
We're by. We're good. Nicely done.
That's what they did. They're looking at 3. So Kleiter back in this, going into 8 without hammer, is now up 5-3. We'll see you for the last end.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like 1 more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Welcome to the rockshop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. Therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind. From pre-seed to post-harvest, you can count on the Victory Canola program to keep you and your farm ahead of the curve. Grow with us at victorycanola.com.
I have an idea.
Figure out how I can. Okay.
All right, we're back. This is the last end. We saw a big pickup by Team Kleiter last time. Big 3 in that end. And now we're this should be fairly predictable going in to 8. Only playing 8 ends here in Swift Current.
Yep. The standard play has been started by Team Kleiter with the center, well, putting one in the 4-foot and then coming in with the center line guard. But interestingly, they've come deep. So now that rock is vulnerable, and Team Lee has a chance to hit and roll under the corner guard. If they can make the most of this as early as it is, in the end, they can really establish a chance to get a nice score of 2. They have to get 2 to stay alive. Oh, never mind. I spoke too quickly. They're not hitting. They're just drawing. Also a useful idea.
Well, that's interesting. We should see another guard go up by Kleiter here.
Yeah. They've given them a chance to guard these 2 that are in the house, which I think is a little bit Have an interesting choice.
Or is he going to attack? We haven't thrown 5 rocks yet.
Yeah, this is situation looking like the classic power play scenario in mixed doubles, where they try a tick shot and they move the existing guard toward the center, and the shooter often rolls out. See how it comes out. First rock of the second Matthew Hall.
Or are they trying to get to the face of that? With that much
They're
food?
coming around. Yep.
Yeah. They're got to get past the guard. They do. And they will just bump it back a little bit to lie 3.
And that rock is out, which is excellent. That makes all the difference right now. It's behind the tee line, it's out of the rings, and it will never come back. So that's amazing. Well done.
Well, we got to figure out how to get that one right back in there, David.
Yeah, you need to put a reverse engine on it.
Too bad you couldn't use the bumpers. New rule change, I guess. That would change the game pretty quick. We make our way down here. They've got to produce some type of offense here. And I just don't see how doing this is going to create the offense that they want to score. They need 2, for sure.
Yeah, I think on that shot, we're trying to hit the Reds and actually roll. I don't think they meant to stay in the center of the house, because if they'd rolled underneath cover, at least they'd have a start behind their corner guard. Now the corner guard's being removed, taking away places to hide. Although interestingly, it looks like there's a new corner guard on the other side.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that's what they wanted. That's about the 4th rock I've seen give that little either an upswing or a downswing. So really slightly different type of finish. We're getting into it, getting closer and closer to the end. Thanks to the 180 people watching so far.
Yeah, we've done well. The audience has climbed slowly. Perhaps they've been on other games and then turned to this one. We're trying to take advantage of this accidental corner guard left by Team Kleiter.
And
lots of room by the guard. Just a question of getting the weight right.
So are you going to take your own guard out, or are you going to take that one out? I like
Well,
that.
the opportunity to sit 3 is probably hard to resist for Team Kleiter at this point.
Well, I can't blame them on that. As we settle in here, watching this rock trying to come down onto the yellow stone.
The line looks great.
You're just past that guard. Great shot. Lying 3 now.
Yeah, Team Kleiter is doing very well this end. They've actually really brought their game up. I just trying to review in my mind all the shots on the last 2 ends, and it really seems like there's been a big difference between the first half of the game and the second half of the game for Team Kleiter.
Almost like a different team. They dialed it in to finish this game out, setting up maybe for playoffs. There is another game tonight that I'll be on against the Chinese team. I'm going to make it easy on myself.
Xiaoming Shu.
Shu.
Yep.
At 6 p.m. 10 p.m. Eastern? No, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm not sure. 8 p.m. I know it's 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All these time zones. Gets you confused every once in a while.
Yep.
This one making its way down the ice. It's got to go. It's got to go. They got to work it even more. Yeah, it took 3 of them to get it in there, but not bad, and they'll pop that one out of play.
I have a feeling, yeah, they'll make a point of getting rid of it. It's certainly exposed. Although they do also have the option of simply drawing in and sitting 4.
And lots of discussion over it. I mean, I almost like coming down, tapping that one back, and rolling across.
Yeah, I think the initial call that Rylan was making, yeah, he's doing it again just now. It was just to hit the yellow and roll underneath. You remove the yellow, you lie 4. The only question is it worth worrying about the other yellow in the house? Because ultimately, Team Lee is trying to score 2, and one of the basic ideas when you want to keep your opponent from scoring 2 is remove as many of his rocks as you can. But I think this one is a sound call, at least for this point in the end. We still have a little ways to go yet, so this is, I think, rock 5.
It's getting down there, though. 8th end. Red sitting 3. And Lee with hammer. Picking this one out.
Yeah, the line looks really good.
And there's that roll we talked about. Now lying 4. Nicely positioned on all of them.
Yeah, the rollover and bump was an unexpected consequence. I think they had first been dreaming of rolling under and sitting sort of closer to the button. Now this opens up options for hit and roll for Team Lee. They can move their one from the top. They can hit from the side and roll in. It's rather enticing, the way those 4 red rocks are lying. Lots of choices.
Well, and what do you like? I mean, I don't mind the little in-off play off the red. I mean, they're going to play this yellow, maybe pop it back through the port here.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of force that we're throwing. I mean, there's a couple of ways to play this. The good news is if they play their own yellow on the nose, then the chances are they're going to have 2 yellow rocks in the house by the time this shot is done, which is good. The question is, will they have shot rock, or what will the other rocks be doing? Based on where this broom is, this rock is going to be flying. So let's just see how it all works out.
They may be trying for the quad, perhaps.
I suppose.
Yeah, it's got a
No,
little
it should
bit
have
less
been.
weight.
It should have been flying. It's not flying.
And it looks like it's a little bit high.
It's
You're gonna pop it. No, they get a couple moving.
yeah.
They
All
rearrange
four
the
red rocks
landscape.
moved, but only one is been removed from the house. They now have, as I said, 2 yellow rocks in the house, which is a start, and definitely a lot more access to the center, the 4-foot, and the scoring area, which is a very big plus. Red is now
Yeah.
more vulnerable than they were, so it's going to be interesting to see how they choose. Number one priority will be to remove at least 1 yellow rock. Looks like they're keying on the one toward the center line, which makes sense. If they can hit it and roll a little bit over into the open, they'll be lying 4, and again putting a lot of pressure on Team Lee. This game has attracted a lot of attention within the curling facility itself. If you look in the window behind the house, the number of people watching has grown.
Well, I think the other games have ended.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Skipper's first rock of the end. Playing an upweight takeout.
Just tap and roll over, lying 4.
All right. You're facing 4.
Another
You
little
have
confidence.
hammer.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to move some of the red rocks, but they also need to make sure, as we did with the last shot, that there are 2 yellows in the house when the dust settles. And also that they have a chance, obviously, to score 2. Initially, they were looking at trying to hit those 2 reds that are side by side. Or hitting in, yeah, as we're indicating now, hitting and sitting kind of frozen in front.
Yeah, you could make a play with the yellow stone at the top, backing it up. That would give you an opportunity to have 2 in the house, and maybe.
Yeah,
I think that's what they're looking at a little bit.
Well, they could also make a play on the one at the top of the 8-foot, hitting it on the center line side, and rolling over into the reds that are sitting in the opposite side in the 8-foot. If they hit it the right way, they could end up sitting shot rock, but also have those reds sort of acting as a bit of a backstop for them. I don't know if they've even considered that. The other advantage of that idea is it would open up one side of the ice and give access to the 4-foot as we're getting closer to the end of the end. This game has not moved quickly. I'm just noticing,
No.
I'm just noticing the time and thinking to myself,
yeah, it's dragged on a little bit.
Pushing on to 2.5 hours. And for an 8-end game, there have been a lot of conversations. Now, are we the only game left on the ice? I'm seeing a measuring device coming back from the other sheet. It's possible that they're still going as well.
Maybe.
All right. So Hyojun Kim throwing the skip rocks for Team Lee in the first of his 2. With hammer this end, needing to score 2.
So he bumps it over.
Okay, incredibly conservative. Now lying 3 red, but 2 yellows in the house, both of which are hard to remove.
Hey guys, just an update on the other game. Uiseong and Klima is going to an extra end after a steal of 2 on that measure. So for anybody here watching, we'll send you over as soon as this game is done directly to the game. You just stay on your browser and it'll kick you right in.
Well, yet another conference.
I think they just want to drag us, get us ready for the next game there, David.
You may be right. Well,
what do you do here? I mean, the question is are you going to wick off the yellow to go to the center, closing that port down because they've got to make a play here to get the 2, and their reds lying 3. We can somewhat discount the red rock at the back of the house.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of different options. I think one of their ideas was we want to get rid of a yellow rock, but they realized that that's a pretty hard thing to do. So I think if the one yellow at the top of the house that's sort of touching the 8-foot could be moved sideways, could be hit on the center line side, and you can just roll over towards the other yellow and the reds. But what they don't want to do is offer up an option for a huge hit where multiple reds go flying all over the place and yellow is sitting 2. But right now, red's in the driver's seat. I mean, Team Kleiter has got a great advantage now, lying 3. This is the final shot, and then Team Lee only has 1 more, and they somehow have to find a way to score 2.
Well, we just saw the option there is if they wick that red over. That's a little bit of a far outreaching concept. Let's see what they've decided. Last stone of the end, last stone of the game for Kleiter. I think it might just be a guard. Take away that center a little bit easier with that kind of weight.
Yeah, this came down to them imagining what their opponent might do or could do.
And I think they were worried about that stone at the top, the wick off of the red.
Yep.
On the top of the 8. So
yep. But that may have been their only option to try and score more than 1. As to hit the like you say, the red in the top of the 8 on an angle, cross house, not hitting the other 2 reds. So now, is there any possible way to score multiple points?
I can't see it.
No. I think that guard that they just played is absolutely amazing. That literally took away any hope of that shot being made. And now they can't even use their own yellow.
I think they're looking at maybe wicking this red stone.
Yeah, I know that they're trying, but I don't think it's there. I mean, it's positive. Oh my goodness, because they have to throw it quite hard in order to hit the red and go across the house into the other reds.
I don't see this happening. I mean,
yeah, that guard is truly
perfect.
Fantastic. Yeah, it really is perfectly placed. Oh, now they're talking about doing it from another angle.
Well, I don't know. That's pretty steep. They'd have to hit that so.
Well, Yeah.
thin.
And if you're coming into it from the other side, then how do you get the rock to ricochet back after it contacts? I really don't see. I think.
We'll know in a second.
Yeah, the skip has managed to correct the idea. And this is thrown inside. I don't think it's even going to get past the guard.
No.
You're right. Okay.
Well,
guys.
that's the game.
Excellent. Well, quite a comeback for Team Kleiter after a very slow start. An excellent effort, and they moved to 4-0.
We'll see you later tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Chris.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.